must look this up, Michael, but I know it's been a long, long time that I've been with HSG. I got involved in the wellbeing space back in 2002 when I got sick, and then I got better. The whole information on that is on YouTube, The Laughing Man, if you've got 11 and a half minutes. To spare some time, it tells the whole story about my subsequent health crisis, and more importantly, why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because I don't want people to go through that experience that I went through back in those times. What Michael didn't mention, apart from the fact that I am a laughter yoga practitioner and therapist, is that I've been 50 years in business now, successfully owning and operating my own businesses. So what I have the ability to do is to mix the conventional medicine with the traditional wisdom and medicine with business. And I think I'm the only person that does that. And the clients seem to be really appreciative of the fact that I can actually bring the business element into the health and well-being space. And that's what we do. At Holistic Services Group, we are open for business, albeit online. We've been working hard to change the majority of what we've been doing from a face-to-face perspective to online. It's a temporary measure, but who knows what the new world will hold. Maybe this is the new way of doing things. I sincerely hope not. I love meeting people face to face, but in the interim, this is how we can run all of our workshops. What was interesting about this, and what we tend to do really, really well at HSG, is keep talking to our clients. And certainly after we've done workshops, we come back and we do a debrief. What did you learn? What did you pick up? And I swear that most of my learning comes from listening to the clients and going, that's a great idea. What if I was to take that and share it with someone else? So I'm seen to be this knowledgeable guru because I just steal people's ideas and share them with other people. And it's amazing some of the very, very simple things that people are actually doing that other people could be doing to actually help them in whatever they're doing. And of course, I was talking to some teachers. Like I said, we talk a lot to our clients. And I was talking to some teachers, and they started to share with me some of the things that are concerning for them and exciting and changing in the world. And I thought, what a wonderful opportunity to deliberately target 10 teachers and just actually interview them and ask them where they're at the moment and their concerns, and maybe some solutions and ideas going into the future. So this whole presentation has been created from me interviewing, I think it was 10 or 11 teachers, specifically about where they're at the moment, where they see the future. I've documented it by way of a PowerPoint presentation. I won't share that with you now, but if you want it, just send a message to us and we'll share the PowerPoint presentation with you. It's mainly so that I can keep track of what it is I want to talk about and my notes, but yes, happy to share that presentation with you. But I personally like the face-to-face situation rather than working off a PowerPoint. So that's just me. So this whole phenomenon of social distancing was created, as we know, recently. And I think now we all know that it's wrong. What they actually meant was physical distancing. So this 1.5 meters has got nothing to do with social distancing. You know, we need to maintain connection with people at a social level while we are physically distanced from them. So we've got to get that terminology right. And essentially, we need to do whatever we can to remain connected, even when we're apart. So that's just a point that I'd like to make on social distancing, which is in fact physical distancing. However, physical distancing can lead to social distancing. So I am away from my grandchildren at the moment. I see them on FaceTime and Skype and that sort of thing, but it's just not the same. And you'll be having this interaction with your staff members if you're a principal or deputy principal, and the teachers then have it with the children. So this physical distancing is going to lead to social distancing issues. And I want to speak today at a personal level. So what are the personal problems or the potential personal problems of physical distancing, which can lead to social distancing? And the first one is from an emotional health point of view. So this can often be triggered by negative feelings, and these negative feelings are things such as sadness. So with our workplace wellbeing programs, for a long time we've been talking about physical health and mental health, but the emotional health on people, how they're feeling, is the new frontier and where a lot of people are going at the moment. So just be aware of those negative feelings that can be triggered by the distance, which can lead to a level of sadness. Now, then we move on to mental health. And this is triggered by the brain creating fear or anxiety at the moment. So with the new world, we don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to look. So this fear is a thing called anxiety. So there's an awful lot of anxiety being created in the world at the moment because we don't know exactly what the new world's going to look like. Now, that is absolutely a mental health problem. And the main one that I've been working with clients for a long time has been in the area of depression. But certainly now we are refocusing on this thing called anxiety, and people are really, really getting mentally uncertain about this and can lead to that. From a physical perspective, this can be triggered by lack of motivation to exercise alone. So we're allowed out of here to exercise, but we often go and exercise with others, either in a gym or a netball competition or some sort of group or team activity. We are herd animals and we like to exercise with other people. I would often walk around the Tan in Melbourne, around the track there, and I might walk by myself, but there's a whole lot of other people around, which sort of motivates me to keep walking. So that's something that we need to be aware of, our physical health, because we're not actually with other people physically. Our social health, this will be a really interesting one, because this can be triggered by an over-reliance of online connections. So we are connecting here now, and I just had a phone call, which was nice, but to actually be in the same room with someone and watch their body language and converse with them is a major contributor to our social health. So we need to be aware of that with an over-reliance of online connections, the impact that this could have on us at a social level, which is social distancing, and our self-health. This is how we feel about ourselves, often called self-esteem or ego, or something that I learned recently called self-compassion, which I really liked. And this is the inner voice that you're starting to hear because you're distanced from people and sometimes being very isolated, and that little voice can start to get very, very critical. So there's just some potential problems of the physical distancing, which can actually lead to social distancing issues. So I see that some of the people online are some of the people that I've spoken to already, so thank you for joining in. And the potential online learning problems that they all commonly shared, and these were the 5 big ones, was maintaining relationships with the children. So it's very, very easy when we're actually in the classroom together to maintain those relationships with the children, the very presence of being there. So one of the problems with any online learning, as I'm experiencing now, is getting that deep relationship with people who I can't see and actually interact with at a personal in the room level. The other one is maintaining relationships with the parents. So many parents are working from home as well. So we can't assume that the children are going to be well supported from a learning perspective and have the perfect home environment and be motivated themselves because their parents may be working from home as well. So there's just some potential online problems, relationships with the children, relationships with the parents, having motivated children, getting them to self-motivate, along with having supportive parents and the actual home environment as some of the learning, online learning problems. And this is what we experience when we're doing face-to-face sessions with businesses as well too. So it's fairly common with any online learning platforms. The specific teacher challenges that I heard, and the number one teacher challenge that I heard come across was the concern over the welfare of the children. And I had some really deep conversations with some of the teachers about, sometimes the school environment is their safe place to be. So now that they don't have that safe place, the teacher's challenge will be able to self-manage that concern for the welfare of the children because they're not actually at school in the safe and supporting place that they are. Online teaching skills. So we may be good teachers in the classroom and I may be a good facilitator in the boardroom or in the workspace, but how good am I? What are my skill sets that can actually enable me to be a good online teacher? And trust me, it is an absolute, totally different skill set that we need to have. And whilst I've heard a lot of schools are setting up, cameras and computers and that sort of stuff, how much time have they actually put into developing the skill set of people to be able to do an online platform? The other common one, the other challenges, is hovering, or what is often known as helicopter parents. So the parents, there's a distance between the parents when the children are at school, but now the parents are actually with the children and around the children while they're going through this learning program. So this is just some challenges and something to be aware of from the teacher's point of view, to say the atmosphere and the environment has changed. So we may have a greater concern or greater interactions. Can go either way, can go positive or negative, because the parents are actually in constant contact with the children and hovering around and understanding exactly everything that's going on. The planning and assessments process is gone. So however you used to plan and assess your program on a day-to-day business, that has changed dramatically. That whole thing has to be reassessed as to how that planning and assessment process is going to work. And the last one was working differently and managing the change. So many teachers have been teaching for an awful long time. I've heard stories of 15, 20, 25, 30-year teachers, and they are really, really good at doing what they do, and they love doing what they do this way. And now all of a sudden it's changed. So people are not necessarily good at embracing change, and we live in a changeable world, but now more than ever before, however those teachers, the long-term teachers, were working, it's just been thrown out the door, and they have to adapt really quickly to possibly the biggest change they've had in their 10, 15, 20, 25 year of teaching experience. So once again, these are just challenges that we need to be aware of and be on top of when they arise, so that we can actually give the children the best experience that we can. So how do you look after yourself, and how do you become a better online presenter? And how do you connect with others? So this physical distancing and the social distancing is all about connecting to others. And the best way that I know is through your face. So you can see here, that's all I've got to work with. It may not be a pretty face, but all I've got to work with is my hands and my face. So the best thing you can do is actually smile, and smile into your eyes. All right, so once again, this is just a little trick that I've learned along the way. If you get your finger and bite your finger, it actually puts a smile into your eyes. Now, the other thing, because I work with laughter, and I'm very aware of the facial muscles that actually change with laughter and smiling and expressing joy and all this sort of thing, if you actually change your facial expression, not only does it connect with others better, but it connects with you better, to your brain, to tell you that you're actually having a good time. So it's more about connecting with others, but connecting with yourself. So just before you start any session, just smile and try and plant that smile on your face and keep it on your face, because people like to interact and learn with people who are happy. On the other side, on the flip side, and I learned this little experiment recently, and don't do it because it's not actually accepted at the moment, but if you were to stick your finger into your mouth long ways like that, so we can stick it in like that to help us smile. If you stick it in that way, that is the perfect frown. All right, so do it after we've finished here, but stick your finger or an object in there, and all right, so it actually draws out your face totally opposite to a frown. So there's just some little exercises to make sure that you're not doing the online. Work from the heart. Work from the heart. Now, this will be new to people. So this is all about intelligence. We have to teach people this way. That's the logic of the brain that says we have to work with intelligence. All of a sudden, we've got to work with emotional intelligence. So more than ever before, we've got to work from this space here, or if you're a gut expert, the guts experts will say work from the gut. So this is emotional intelligence. So this is the two-way highway through the vagal nerve of the transmission of information from our body to our brain and our brain to our body. So the more we can, and this is why I didn't want to use the PowerPoint presentation, because hopefully I can exude more working from my heart rather than working from a logic of a PowerPoint presentation. Be interactive. Try as much as you can to play this little game, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, and try to engage the people. So a lot of people are reverting to Facebook at the moment, and Facebook is just a one-way interaction. We have the ability through Skype and Zoom and other teaching platforms to actually have more interaction backwards and forwards between the people. So if you do, it enhances that connection and helps to build that relationship and make eye contact. And this is a hard one, because when we are in the room talking to someone, if we go out and present ourselves to someone, we're about that far away. Now, because of the fact that we're working online, I'm now that far away and you are that far away. So the distance between us has now become this much. All right, so making eye contact as much as you possibly can is really, really critical. So that may mean you sometimes have to get a little bit closer to the screen, and they get closer to the screen as well too. But once again, it's about triggering those mirror neurons, really connecting with the eyes, and not a lot of people actually think about that and do that, but it's something worth considering when we're doing online presentations. And my glasses don't help, but I can't see the screen if I take them off. So here's some exercises to try to connect to you. So that's just a couple little tips. And like I said, it's all documented on the PowerPoint presentation here. So that's just some exercises and tricks and hints and tips about being a better online connector and communicator. Here's some exercises to try to connect to you, because when you are isolated, as we are, once again, there's a couple of tricks and hints and tips, and I want to just share them with you now. The first one is something that you're common with, and that is breathe. All right, so meditation is big on breathing, laughter is big on breathing, but it's just understanding the process of breathing. And I was with a Buteyko expert this morning talking about the breath and how to slow down your breath and get that nitric oxide back into the nasal passages to help deal with viruses and all these sorts of things. So just breathe. I just did it then. All right, so don't think because you're online you have to keep talking. Just stop, relax the shoulders. And then start again. Just before you start a session, just after you do a session, just spend a minute, just take some time out and just relax into the space and breathe. When you're finished, just take some time and breathe. It's just a conscious pause, which we need to be aware of when we're working in isolation. Exercise. So in the classroom, I'm guessing you're up and moving around quite a lot. Online learning, all of a sudden, the concept is we have to be stuck in a chair. So really, really important to get up and exercise. And as you'll see by the guy doing yoga, and no, it's not me because he's very good looking and has an amazing body, just get up and just do some stretching exercise. If you know a couple of yoga moves, that's okay. Just go for a walk. Make sure that you don't get stuck in your chair, because that's not how your body is used to working. Smile and laugh. A sense of humor will get us through a whole lot of really, really challenging times ahead. So once again, the smile exercise is not just good to connecting with others, as I'm doing now, but it's good to connect with you, to put your mind into a more joyous space, and find some things that are humorous. There's some fantastic things on Facebook and social media going around at the moment, and they're trying to lessen the severity and the seriousness of it all. Please, please, when you find something like that which is humorous, laugh out loud. Out loud, even if you have to find your own little space. Don't hold it in. Actually, remember to keep laughing, because it puts your whole body, mind and physiology into a totally different space. And we did a laughter webinar, one of these just a couple of days ago. Michael will be able to tell you where that's archived, and just go and just understand the importance of laughing on a regular basis. Take time out to congratulate yourselves. All right, take time out to go, well done. That's good. That was fantastic. That was exactly what I wanted to achieve. Don't get sucked into the busyness of not stopping and congratulating yourself. So once again, there's on my PowerPoint presentation, there's a guy going like that, you know, good on you, well done. You know, take the time to stop, breathe, smile and laugh and go, well done me. Pat yourself on the back if you have to. All of these things are really, really important when working in isolation. And trust me, I've learnt this personally over having worked in a home office by myself for some 10 years now. And don't forget to massage your neck and shoulders. So a lot of tension gets built up in our neck and shoulders, a lot of stress there. So once again, these are things that you can do as you're actually doing a session with the children and doing some online stuff. Just take a little time, just massage those neck and shoulders. And if you like, you know, actually do the physical massage. You can do this yourself, just massaging the neck muscles there and just relaxing and releasing the head, because the longer we sit at these computers, the more we get rigid like this and the stress builds up in those. So just massage the neck and shoulders. So just a little couple of self-care things: breathe, exercise, smile and laugh, congratulate yourself, and massage your neck and shoulders. There is good news. Too often our brain is geared to the fight and flight situation, and there's only bad news. And this is the good news that I've heard from the 10 or 11 teachers that I've interviewed. And the first one was, NAPLAN is gone. And they said, yes, NAPLAN is gone. So it was interesting that that was one of the first things that they cut out. And they said, well, we're not going to concentrate on that. So if they cut that out, once again, the people that I interviewed said, we have so much more time to do other things now, because that's one big thing, part of our time that we don't have to concentrate on anymore. As a result of that, and being away from the work environment, staff meetings and these sorts of things, they don't have to do that as much anymore. So there is actually less stress. A lot of them were feeling less stressed. That could be to do with the fact that a lot of them are not working in the school environment at the moment, or the school holidays on. So they're just saying there's less stress at the moment. It's great just to be able to catch a breath. So take this opportunity to catch a breath. The other good news that people shared with me, people will now value schools. All right, a school used to be somewhere where you just sent your child off. Now that they're having children at home, they're going, it would be really good. We really value the fact that there is a school, a safe environment where people can go to and send their children where they know they don't just get a learning experience, but they're going to be looked after in a really good environment. So hopefully there'll be more funds put into actually the school environment. And the other big one, people will now value teachers. And, you know, all of a sudden you've been, I think, one of the highest regarded people, but the lowest paid in society, because we really didn't sort of understand that value. But to a person, the people said, maybe now they will value the work that we do. You have to put up with helping your 1 or 2 children do their schoolwork. Guess what? We have to deal with 20 of them, 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. Maybe now you will actually value us. So there could be an amazing big shift coming with people valuing one of the most underpaid and possibly not so much valued people in our society. And then there's the ability to start over with a new model. I've gone and talked to many people, and especially in the health sector where I work a lot as a therapist, I'll say to the people in a clinic or a hospital or something like that, I say, if you had your time over again, would you instigate the same system? I think, oh, not in a million years. Business is the same. You know, if you had your time over again, would you continue working your business the same way? And they go, not in a million years. Schools have that ability now to sit back, take a breath and think, once we get through this thing, are we going to go back to the same thing, or are we going to have a totally new system and thought process? And I think this is going to be a worldwide thing that's going to happen. It won't be limited to schools or hospitals or workplaces. I just know that it will be a big opportunity to start all over again. So that's some other thinking to get rather excited about when we're going back to what may be a normal situation or circumstance. But I truly believe we don't have to go back to where we were unless it was absolutely working for you. And the people that I chatted to said, no, it wasn't. And I'll leave you with a quote. Someone very enlightened shared with me this quote: in the rush to return to normal, use this time to consider which parts of normal are worth rushing back to. It's in the PowerPoint presentation, and that was just so profound. It hit me. I'm going, wow, yes, we'll get back to being normal. Businesses are telling me we want to get back to normal. And I'm asking them, you know, which parts of normal are worth rushing back to? All right, so thanks for tuning in. I had 30 minutes. I've gone 29. I love it when I'm on time. For those of you who need to go, I bid you farewell and thank you for being on this call with us. As I said, this will be available to other people. So if you found it useful, share it with as many of your teaching staff as possible. I don't have anything else to do, so I'm going to stay on the line for anybody who wants to open up their microphone and have a chat. For those who need to go, thank you very much for your time.